Live with Alex Mashinsky. Banks are not your friends. And Charles Hoskinson. Celsius Network just announced adding ADA, Cardano to Celsius Network in Q2 of 2021. Now, why is it going to take so damn long, Alex? Start.
So it's not like we didn't want to add it. It was more about our custodians supporting it. Can we generate yield? And obviously, again, launching Shelly solves a lot of those issues. So it was more about, you guys killing it, launching it right before the end of the year. So it's like, that put the squash on any arguments from anybody. It was like, okay, now there's nothing to argue over. Anytime my Fireblocks or whoever else we're using or Prime Trust tells us, oh, whatever. I'm like, no, go finish the job. We want this thing live. So we're committed to Q2. If we can do it earlier, we'll do it earlier, and everybody will be able to earn yield. So basically, what we do is you earn the normal yield, and if we lend it out, you earn more yield on top of it. So we'll be hopefully yielding something that is more than just the staking rewards.
Do you guys think it's going to continue into 2021? Like, do you think it's going to get worse? Do you think we're going to start? Where do you think? I'm curious because, as a crypto enthusiast, and I see what's happening in the markets and what's like really kind of coiling up.
Let's go back to the pandemic of 1918, right? And the roaring 20s, in my view, right? This is not like scientific guys or whatever, some historians telling you this. This is just my idea. The roaring 20s were a direct result of that pandemic and 150 million people dying all over the world, right? And we just went to that event, the same event after 100 years. And I'm telling you that the entire basically tech stack has moved by 10 years. It's like went into a time machine and jumped 10 years forward. So this mass adoption that we're seeing in crypto is a lot of it has to do with this basically injection of adrenaline that we got from this pandemic. As bad as it is, people are dying all over the world. But definitely something really, really big just happened. And we're just seeing the first few inches of that, not even a few steps, right? So in my view, what just happened, we're just the beginning of this massive digital adoption there's no going back, right? So I'll stop right here.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a good and a bad. Like World War II led to the creation of rocketry and all this other really cool technology that started the aerospace industry. And whenever you get rid of an existing power structure or social structure, it creates some anarchy and chaos, but the things that come off after it give you an opportunity to create new things. Now, the other thing is that there's a delay from 2020. It's like a ticking time bomb that still has to work its way through. The government turned on the money printers and printed $6 trillion out of thin air. And they did a lot to prop up the economy to try to keep things going. But all these small businesses are devastated. And when they go, that's going to create millions, if not tens of millions of job losses across the US and collectively hundreds of millions across the world. And you don't feel that for another 6 months to 12 months. There's also a fundamental lack of trust in institutions. And that has been really exacerbated in every dimension.
But the big question remains for Cardano. Are you going to kind of like make the past better, or are you going to invent something new? Are you going to create a new killer app that is even better than 1 and 2?
Come play with us, Alex, forever and ever and ever. I did a great video. I highly recommend you guys watch it, called the Island, the Pond, and the Ocean. And this is exactly the thing we've heard a lot from many dApps who are thinking about either migrating or becoming a multi-chain standard. Because at the end of the day, I mean, Alex is here to innovate. I mean, who cares if it's Ethereum, it's EOS, or it's Tezos? We're infrastructure. Our job is to provide a collection of services, just like Amazon Web Services provides you when you host an application. But at the end of the day, his job is make his customers happy and to make that app great and provide utility within their philosophy. So what we've done for migration is we've done kind of a collection of 3 things. One, we have the ERC20 converter. So if you have a token on Ethereum, we try to give you white glove treatment on how to move that token over from Ethereum to Cardano in the easiest possible way and in the most automated possible way. 2, we're going to fully support the Ethereum virtual machine. So we have the dev nets running, and if you want to run your Solidity code and use your Solidity tooling and all that stuff, you can. And so one-to-one, it's just going to work, and it'll be a lot better, faster, and cheaper, probably 100 times or 1,000 times cheaper than Ethereum. So we'll discover that during the DevNet phase, but we just launched that in December, and that's already there. And if you guys want to explore that and play around with it, we're ready to go. And three, what we try to do is get an understanding of what your app is going to need, not today, but in the future. So as you go from 100,000 users to 1 million users to 1 billion users, or whatever your roadmap happens to be, there are going to be things in your roadmap that none of these platforms currently support, and you're going to need bespoke service and support infrastructure to get there. And we try to accommodate. Like, one thing we've noticed almost everybody in the DeFi space is talking about right now is identity, because FinCEN is just getting so much more aggressive on KYC and AML, as is the U.S. Treasury Department in general, as is the FATF. So it's no longer good enough to just have all these naked accounts. People need to have some notion of, hey, they're KYC'd, or hey, you're doing business with counterparties who aren't on sanction lists, or these types of things. Well, we built Prism for that. So we have this great layer 2 solution that has DIDs, and you can have authenticated addresses, and you can embed identity into transactions and have whatever KYC scheme you want. You can even do encrypted DIDs, so it's private on the blockchain, but certain people can decrypt those DIDs to verify who has ownership or custody. So these are the kinds of layer 2 solutions that we try to work our way on. The other is governance. Right after MakerDAO got a class action lawsuit when Ethereum collapsed in I think it was March or April of last year, when the markets went down. All of a sudden, the MakerDAO guys were like, man, we really should accelerate this whole DAO thing. We don't like liability. We don't like getting sued. Well, wouldn't it be great if you had a whole voting system, had a whole voting stack, and it's really easy for your token holders to decide the direction and progress of the product, or perhaps you want a treasury system or these types of things. Well, all of the governance tools we built for Cardano are reusable for Cardano native assets. So when you issue an asset on Cardano, you get access to not just a great network that's low cost and has a lot of capabilities. Anything that ADA works on, your token works on.
All this experimentation that's happening on DeFi, on Ethereum today, you can see the regulators all over the world basically saying, we're not going to just let you run and do all this stuff, right? And they're pulling, kind of like the bear hug is tightening every second with more and more regulation and more requirements.
When I asked you that question, Alex, about putting Celsius on the app, I didn't even realize, it never even occurred to me that you're paying everybody's withdrawal fees. So you might go bankrupt over the 2021, depending on how high.
I think it's $2.5 million a year at the current market price.
Yes, it just went 5x.
Yeah,
and we're adding customers so quickly that it's going to be much bigger number. So it's that. Look, we want all these fees that I'm paying Ethereum should have went to my customers as more yield. Right. So instead of me raising the yield on all these coins, I have to give it up as another toll collector. So and there's no reason. There's no like a transaction on Ethereum is $20 or $30. I mean, this is crazy.
Charles, I gotta ask, because it's what I see everywhere. Like, when Coinbase,
it's like this 17-year-old guy who wants to get laid and keeps harassing his girlfriend. Like, stop it! She'll do it when she's ready.
Oh, I know. Yes, I had to do it.
I mean, we did everything on our side that we could do.
I think
Coinbase's decision.
Coinbase has more lawyers than programmers. That's the problem. So if they had more programmers, then you wouldn't have this problem.
There's a lot of problems. You got the S1 filing, you got the New York Times thing, the recent attritions because of that one article that came out. You got the XRP issue and the lawsuits there. They're a busy company. They got like 1,000 people. There's a lot of shit on their plate. Let them do their stuff. They call me if they need something. I took care of everything they needed. It's like, don't worry, everything's okay.
Do you hear that, everybody? All 1,846 of you? That's all you're gonna get. They bug me.
That's all you're gonna get. It's all you're gonna get. I'm gonna say nothing. It'll come if it comes in its own time, in its own place, and it'll be magical and special.
Let me make a case for Charles here, okay? Celsius did not list on a single exchange. We are number 16 now, 17 top coin or a token. Okay. We are still not on Coinbase or Binance or any major exchange. When you have the community and when you have a killer app, you don't need all that shit. Okay. You don't need it. So if we just get going, if we just
hang on. We're on Kraken, we're on Binance,
No, I
we're
know.
on Bittrex, we're everywhere. It's
got
like
plenty.
there's
You got much
plenty,
more.
guys. Come
My
on.
point to Jason is that you don't need Coinbase to get your price to new highs.
No, it's not even about that. I just want my mom to be able to buy it without having to transfer it 3 different places. That's her
Right.
thing. And that's ultimately why everybody wants Coinbase, because they know that's where our grandmothers are, because it's the only
All right,
exchange they
Jason, to
use.
make you feel better,
Wrap
we'll
it,
institute
wrap
the
it,
Leroy
and-
program. We'll have a guy in a trench coat named Leroy meet your mother in the alleyway with a brown paper bag.
I would pay for
Go ahead.
that. My mom would love that.
Yeah, there we
Dream
go.
come true. And she's probably watching this. So, hi, Mom. We're going to get you kidnapped by a guy in a paper bag.
We're gonna wrap Cardano and put it on Uniswap, and this way she can buy it right on Uniswap. How about that? That's
There
how
you
much
go.
it costs.
It'll cost you $5 for the ADA.
I know.
$500
Right?
for the
You'll buy
transaction.
$10, it will cost you $30.
Wow.
Exactly. So, but that's what these people are paying every day, but they have no clue. They cannot see the transaction cost. They have no clue. They pay on Coinbase, they'll pay 7% for the credit card fee. And in Uniswap, they'll pay 30, and they'll be the trashing Coinbase saying, oh, those guys are so bad. No, you just paid 5 times as much on the Ethereum network, so, and again, all that is hidden. Like you can't see it unless you know exactly, what you're doing, and you know how to go in there on Etherscan and look at your fees and convert that into dollars. You have no clue what it
Are
costs.
you trying to say Ethereum has hidden fees, Alex? Are you trying to make that
I'm
statement?
paying them. I mean,